Vamdeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Parakamalam Shri Gurum Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Rāsa Krishna Param Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vidamscha Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Vamchakalpatarvyascha Kripasindhuvyevacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha Daya Tulasi Devyaya Priyaya Kesavasya Krishna Bhakti Pradevi Satyavatya Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Dandavad, dear devotees, welcome to a new opportunity to serve reality, and thank you for tuning in once again. Srileka Didi is feeling sick. She's going to stay in bed. And for that reason, I am here trying to cover this service. What we're going to do today is read a few verses of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, just to please Srimad Mahaprabhu. And after that, we're going to read Sermons of the Guardian, Volume 2, by Srila Sridhar Maharaj. That being said, Jai Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Ki Jai. Jai Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Śrī Chaitanya Charitāmṛta, Antya-līlā Volume 2 Ki Jai. Text 69. Punnagahe haya haya parapararammaraya gahe Prabhu gagada agyane Ramananda parishloka shuni Prabhura harsha shoka apane Prabhu karena vyakyane. Translation. In a faltering voice, Śrī Chaitanya Mahāprabhu again said, Alas, go on reciting Ramaraya. Thus, Ramananda Rai began to recite a verse. While listening to this verse, the Lord was sometimes very jubilant and sometimes overcome by lamentation. Afterwards, the Lord personally explained the verse. Bhikshya kavirta Mukam Tavakundala Shri Gandastala Sudam Hasita Valokam Tatavayam Chabujadanda Yugambi Lokya Vaksaha Jaika Ramanam Chababbamadasya. Translation. Dear Krishna, by seeing your beautiful face decorated with tresses of hair, by seeing the beauty of your earrings falling on your cheeks, and by seeing the nectar of your lips, the beauty of your smiling glances, your two arms which assure complete fearlessness, and your broad chest whose beauty arouses conjugal attraction, we have simply surrendered ourselves to becoming your maid servants. Purport. This verse, quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, was spoken by the gopis when they arrived before Krishna for the Rāsa dance. Text 71. Krishna jini padma chanda patyache mukha panda tate adarama dusmita chara braja nariya siyasi pande parihaya dasi Chari-lā japati gara dvara. Translation. Śrī Chaitanya Mahāprabhu said, after conquering the moon and the lotus flower, Krishna wished to capture the doe-like gopis. Thus, he spread the news of his beautiful face. And within that news, he placed the bait of his sweet smile to misguide the gopis. The gopis fell prey to that trap and became Krishna's maidservants, giving up their homes, families, husbands, and prestige. Text 72. Bandava Krishna kare vyadera chara nahimani dharma dharma hare nari mirgma marma kare nanna upayata hara. Translation. My dear friend, Krishna acts just like a hunter. This hunter does not care for piety or impiety. He simply creates many devices to conquer the cores of the hearts of the doe-like gopis. Text 73. Gandasala jalamala nachimakura kundala senitye hare narichaya Sasmita kataksha bane ta savara hardayahane nari bare nahi kichu vaya. The earrings dancing on Krishna's cheeks are shaped like sharks, and they shine very brightly. These dancing earrings attract the minds of all women. Over and above this, Krishna pierces the hearts of women with the arrows of his sweetly smiling glances. He is not at all afraid to kill women in this way. Text 74. Ati ucha subhistara Lakshmi Shrivatsa Alankara Krishnera ye dakatya bhaksha Braja Devi Laksha Laksha Dasavara Manovaksha Haridasi Karivare Daksha. Translation. On Krishna's chest are the ornaments of the Shrivatsa marks, indicating the residence of the goddess of fortune. His chest, which is as broad as a plunderer's, attracts thousands upon thousands of damsels of Braja, conquering their minds and breasts by force. Thus, they all become maidservants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 75. Sulalita dirgar gala Krishnera bhuja yugala bhujanahe Krishna sarpakaya doi shaila chidre paishe narirahidayam damse marinari sevisa jvalaya. Translation. The two very beautiful arms of Krishna are just like long bolts. They also resemble the bodies of black snakes that enter the space between the two heel-like breasts of women and bite their hearts. The women then die from the burning poison. Purport. In other words, the gopis become very much agitated by lusty desire. They are burning due to the poisonous bite inflicted by the black snakes of Krishna's beautiful arms. Text 76. Krishna kara paratala koti chandra sushitala jini karpura bina mula chandana ekavara jara sparshe Smarjvala Vishanase. Jares Parshe Lupda Nari Mana. The combined cooling effect of camphor, roots of kasa, and sandalwood is surpassed by the coolness of Krishna's palms and the soles of his feet, which are cooler and more pleasing than millions upon millions of moons. If women are touched by them even once, their minds are enticed, and the burning poison of lusty desire for Krishna is immediately vanquished. Text 77. Ette kavilapakari premaveshe gaurahari earte pare eka shloka. Se shloka pariratha vishakare kahebada ugadya hirdayera shoka. Translation. Lamenting in ecstatic love, Śrī Chaitanya Mahāprabhu then recited the following verse, which was spoken by Srimati Radharani while exposing the lamentation of her heart to her friend Srimati Vishaka. Text 78. Harinmani kavatika pratatahari bhakshaha estalaha. Esmararta taruni mana kalusahari dor ang argalaha. Sudam shuhari kanda chanda notpala shitabraha sitangakaha. Samemandana mona sakita noti bhakshaha espriham. Translation. My dear friend, Krishna's chest is as broad and attractive as a door made of Indranila gems, and his two arms as strong as bolts can relieve the mental anguish of young girls distressed by lusty desires for him. His body is cooler than the moon, sandalwood, the lotus flower, and camphor. In this way, Madana Mohana, the attractor of Cupid, is increasing the desire of my breasts. Purport. This verse is also found in the Govinda Lilamrita 8:7. Text 79. Prabhu kahe Krishna muni ekanai painu apanara durvaive puna harainu. Translation. Śrī Chaitanya Mahāprabhu then said, I just now had Krishna, but unfortunately I have lost him again. Text 80. Chanchala svava Krishnera naraya ekastane deka diyamana hari kare antardane. Translation. By nature, Krishna is very restless. He does not stay in one place. He meets with someone, enchants his mind, and then disappears. Text 81. Tasam tat saubhagamadam vikshyamanam cha keshavaha prashamaya prashadaya tatraivantaradiyata. Translation. The gopis became proud of their great fortune to subdue their sense of superiority and show them a special favor. Keshava, the subduer of even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, disappeared from the Rāsa dance. Purport. This verse quoted from Śrīmad Bhagavatam was spoken by Shukadev Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit. Text 82. Svarupa Gosanire Kahena Gaweka Gita Jate Amara Hirdayera Hayeta Sambit. Translation. Śrī Chaitanya Mahāprabhu then said to to Svarup Damodar. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
All right.
Yeah.
Text 86. Asta sarvika bhava ange prakataha ila. Harsati vyavichari sava uta-līlā. Translation. At that time, all 8 kinds of spiritual transformations became manifest in Lord Chaitanya's body. The 33 symptoms of vyavichari bhava, beginning with lamentation and jubilation, became prominent as well. Text 87. Vavodaya bhava sandhi, vava shavalya, vave vave maha jure savara pravalya. Translation. All the ecstatic symptoms, such as Vavodaya, Vava Sandhi, and Vava Shavalya, awakened in the body of Śrī Chaitanya Mahāprabhu. A great fight arose between one emotion and another, and each of them became prominent. Text 88. Se para puna puna karaya gayana, puna puna asvadaye karina nartana. Translation. Lord Chaitanya Mahāprabhu had Svarup Damodar sing the same verse again and again. Each time he sang it, the Lord tasted it anew. Each time he sang it, the Lord tasted it anew, and thus he danced again and again. Text 89. Eimata Nityayadi Haila Bahusana Svarup Gosani Para Kaila Samapana. Translation. After the Lord had been dancing for a long time, Svarup Damodar Goswami stopped singing the verse. Text 90. Bal bal bali Prabhu kahe na bara bara na gaya Svarup Goswami Smarama. Oh. I apologize. I'm going to read the text line again. Bol bol bali Prabhu kahina bara bara. Na gaya svarupa Goswami Srama deki tandra. Translation. Over and over again, Śrī Chaitanya Mahāprabhu said, "Go on, sing, sing." But Svarup Damodar, seeing the Lord's fatigue, did not resume singing. Text 91. Bal bal Prabhu balena bhakta gana shuni chaudi kete save meli kare Haridev Prabhu. Translation. When the devotees heard Śrī Chaitanya Mahāprabhu say, "Go on singing," they all gathered around him and began to chant the holy name of Hari in unison. Text 92. Ramananda Rai Tave Pravures Vivasaila Bijanadi Kari Pravura Esrama Gu Chaila. Translation. At that time, Ramananda Rai made the Lord sit down and dissipated his fatigue by fanning him. Text 93. Pravure lana gela save samudrera tire. Snana karana puna tanre lana ailagare. Translation. Then all the devotees took Śrī Chaitanya Mahāprabhu to the beach and bathed him. Finally, they brought him back home. Jai Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai. Jai Shri A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Chaitanya Charitamrta Ki Jai. In this moment, we're going to read Sermons of the Guardian of Devotion, Volume 2, by His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Raka Haridev Goswami Maharaj. And since we haven't been reading this in a regular basis, we're just going to open a chapter to see what treasure we can find. Jai Srila Bhakti Raka Haridev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Sermons of the Garden of Devotion, Volume 2 Ki Jai. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Bhajana, real and apparent. Devotee, I have heard that some acharyas hold that smarana, internal remembrance, is of prime importance as a devotional service to the Lord, above even kirtana or chanting, or is it subservient to kirtana? Srila Guru Maharaj, there are some who are of that opinion because smarana is exclusively connected with consciousness, or more concerned with the subtle part of our existence. So that should be the most effective form of sadhana, or means to the end. But our Guru Maharaj and Srila Jiva Goswami, and also Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu, laid a stress on kirtana. Jai Mahaprabhu. Especially for the beginners. Guru Maharaj says in his song, Vaishnava Ke, who is a Vaishnava? Kirtana Prava Vesmarana Haive, Sekali Bhajana Nirjana Sambhava. Internal remembrance can occur by the power of kirtana, and only then is solitary service possible. Nirjana Bhajana or Smarana, exclusively solitary devotion, unconscious of the environment, is not at all possible for beginners. And Srila Jiva Goswami says, Bhakti Sandarbha Sankhya. Yadyapi Anya Bhakti Kalau Kirtavya Tara Kirtanakya Bhakti Samyoge Naiva. In this Kali Yuga, of the 9 basic forms of devotional practices, The forms other than Kirtana certainly should be practiced, but they must be conducted subserviently to Kirtana. And this is the principle of Mahaprabhu's preaching. Kirtana has its own special characteristic, particularly in Kali Yuga. Kaler dosha nire rajan asti eko mahan gunaha. Kirtanat eva Krishnasya mukta sangaha param brajet. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, O king, the age of Kali, the repository of all evils, has but one glorious characteristic. In this age, those who simply chant the holy name of Krishna are liberated and reach the Supreme Lord. Also, Srila Madhvacharya has written in his commentary on Mundak Upanishad, Vapariyāir Janair Vishnu Pancharatraish Chakevalam Kalautu Nāma-matrena Pujyate Bhagavan Hari. In Dvapara Yuga, Lord Vishnu is exclusively worshipped by the people according to the principles of deity worship delineated in the Pancharatra scripture. But in Kali Yuga, the Supreme Lord Hari is worshipped only by chanting of His holy name. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, when the incarnation of Śrī Chaitanya Mahāprabhu is mentioned, the method by which the people will worship Him is also given. Jagyahi Saṅkīrtana prayair jajanti hi Sumedhasā. Here, Yagya means sacrifice, dedication, which is Saṅkīrtana praya or Saṅkīrtana pradana, which means predominated by Saṅkīrtan, the congregational chanting of the holy name. And this is performed by those endowed with sufficient piety. So, in this age of iron, Kirtana has its own special privilege, granted by the Supreme Lord. Mahaprabhu's speciality in preaching is preaching. Kirtana. He inaugurated and conducted Hari Kirtana. So Kirtana has been accepted by our Guru Maharaj, Srila Jiva Goswami, and others. To write about the Lord is also within the jurisdiction of Kirtana. To preach is assertion, to take the message to others. So also, to be engaged in answering the questions of the environment automatically demands concentration, which is very rare in this age. When one is doing kirtan, he automatically cannot but give all concentration and attention. He cannot speak independently, intuitively. He must be all attentive. For this reason, kirtana has been recommended to be the highest form of bhajana, especially in the age of Kali. Bhajanera Mari Shrestha Naba Vidah Bhakti Krishna Prema Krishna Dite Dare Mahashakti Tar Mari Sarva Shrestha Nāma-saṅkīrtan Niraparate Nama Lailepaya Premadana. Chaitanya Charitamrita and Antya-līlā. Chapter 4, text 70 and 71. Of all forms of divine service, 9 forms are superior, which with great potency bestow upon the devotees love for Krishna and their personal relationship with Him. And of the 9, the best is Nāma-saṅkīrtan, by offensively taking the holy name. The treasure of love for the Lord is attained. Mahaprabhu also accepted 5 principal limbs from the 9 that are mentioned in the Bhagavatam as Shravanam, Kirtanam, etc. Sadhu Sangha, Nāma-kirtana, Bhagavat Shravana, Mathura Vasa, Shrimurtira, Śraddhā, Sevana. Association with the pure devotee, chanting the holy name, here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, residing in Mathura Dham, and faithfully worshipping the deity. So of these 5, Mahaprabhu has given Nāma-saṅkīrtana the highest position. Nāma-saṅkīrtana has been considered best of all, it has been delineated by the Acharyas. That was especially given by our Guru Maharaj, and the basis is supported by the Shastra, scriptures. But if other Acharyas have shown preference for Smarana in any instance, that will be in the sense that Kirtana may be in the relativity of the material environment, whereas Smarana is independent from the material consideration. From that point of view, Smarana may be recommended as the highest, but that is not accepted in a general way. It may be a special opinion. In Chaitanya Charitamrta, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has clarified that there are two types of devotees in the stage just prior to attaining the highest plane of Paramahamsa or Uttamadhikara. The devotees who cross the middle stage, which is Madhyamadhikara, and reach towards occupying the highest position, are called devotees in the stage of Premarurukshu. They are classified in two sections, Gostyanandi and Vibhiktanandi, or Bhajananandi, or Bhajananandi. The first, Gostyanandi, are always engaged in preaching, and the second, Bhajananandi, take to Smarana or Nirja Bhajana, a solitary life of worship, without mixing with the environment. It does not prove that one is superior to the other. The Vivek Anandis generally like a secluded life and go on with Smarana, and those who are of the Gostyanandi type go on with Kirtana, preaching, and also attain the highest position, without coming to the school of exclusive Smarana. Those who have attained the highest plane are known as Premaruddha. Imaginary perfection, self-deception. Guru Maharaj clearly said that when we are in a lower position, Smarana is injurious. Rather, we should take to Kirtana. Kirtana pravave Smarana haive, sekale bhajana nirjana sambhava. The Sahaja school, the imitationists, are more fond of Smarana than Kirtana. They are followers of Smarana. They lead a secluded life, and mentally they go on identify themselves with a particular Saki of their own age, her duty, her place of attendance in a particular place of Vrindavan, in a particular Lila, under the guidance of a particular Saki, and so on. They are required to go on meditating on all these things by their so-called guru. That is the process amongst the Sahaya school, but we do not admit that. We consider it all false and imaginary. They are not fit for the plane. They do not have real Sambandha-jñān, knowledge of what is what. They only go on with the habitual repetition of a particular mental speculation. But anartha-nirvritti, the purging of evils, or any other process based on it, cannot be affected by I apologize, I'm going to read this again. They only go on with the habitual repetition of a particular mental speculation. But anartha-nirvritti, purging of evils, or any other process based on it, cannot be affected thereby. Their imagined achievement is sheer concoction. They are not aware of the facts. The ontological gradation from Viraja to Brahmaloka, Vaikuntha and Goloka. They are Pukura Koriwale, pond thieves. To think one can steal a pond is self-deception. We think that kind of Smarana to be something like self-deception. For example, Srila Gaura Kishora Babaji Maharaj went on with Smarna. Once, there was another Babaji who constructed a kutir nearby, a small hut, and he went on imitating Gaura Kishora Babaji, doing madhukari, subsisting on alms, sitting and meditating and wearing similar cloth. Then once Babaji remarked, if a lady enters into a maternity guard, she cannot produce a child only by imitating the sounds and symptoms of labor. Many things are necessary before that. So only by imitating the Paramahamsa Babaji, bhajana cannot be effected. One must have connection with Śrūdha Sattva, the real plane, and then all the higher symptoms may appear. Otherwise, all those speculative antics will manifest. Na utiya bhiksopari, tanatani paladari, dushta pala karile arjana. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that if one wants fruits without taking the trouble to climb the tree, what sort of fruits can he expect? The fruits will be ruined or rotten. Without proper progression, it is all imagination, a madman's feat. One must gradually reach the plane of truth, Śrūdha Sattva. There are so many planes to cross. Bhur, Bhubar, Svar, Mahar, Janar, Tapar, Satyaloka, Viraja, Brahmaloka, Brahmaloka. Mahaprabhu says that the creeper of bhakti grows and rises up to Goloka, and she has to cross all these planes. Upajija Bhattelata Brahmanda Bedijaya Viraja Brahmaloka Bedi Paravyamabhaya Tavejaya Tat Upari Goloka Vrindavana Krishna Charana Kalpa Brikshe Kare Arohana. This is a verse from the Chaitanya Charitāmṛta, Antya-līlā Chapter 19. The creeper of devotion is born and grows to pierce the wall of the universe. It crosses the Viraja river and the Brahman plain and reaches to the Vaikuntha plain. Then it grows further up to Goloka Vrindavan, finally reaching to embrace the wish-yielding tree of Krishna's lotus feet. But the pseudo-devotees do not care to know what is Paravyama, what is Brahmaloka, what is Viraja, and what is the Brahmananda. Without caring to know about these things, they approach any guru, receive some mantram, and go on meditating. But in such a stage, if one goes on meditating upon Radha Govinda Lila, instead of entering Radha Govinda Lila, he will rather entangle with the ladies and gents of this world. He will become entangled in the domain of lust, and he will have to go to hell instead of going up to Goloka. Charma mamsa maya kama prema chidananda dhamma. The carnal appetite is lust, whereas love is the abode of divine ecstasy. So imitation is not success. It rather degrades. Imitation degrades. Imagination is only a mental exercise. And then the devotee asks Srila Srila Maharaj an interesting question. He goes, what if that mental exercise is done with faith? And Srila Srila Maharaj responds, mind is separate. Śraddhā is connected with soul, Atma, and mind is matter. Again, mind is separate. Śraddhā is connected with soul, Atma, and mind is matter. Mind is material, a part of material potency. This is also clarified in Gita. Pumir aponalo vayu kam mano buddhir evacha ahankar iti yamme bina prakirti astada. Bhagavad Gita chapter 7 verse 4. Mind is a product of the material potency, and the jiva is a product of Parashakti, the principal potency. And Svarup Shakti, the Lord's personal potency, is higher than the jiva. The nature of the mind is mental speculation, manodharma. That has nothing to do with truth. That is drawn from the material world, the world of misconception. The mind is full of misconception. Avan manaso gocharaha. Mind cannot reach the stage of feeling or perceiving truth proper. It is only related to mundane things or exploitation. Devotee. But isn't pure mind a product of Śraddhā? Srila Śrīla Maharaj responds, mind cannot be pure, just as a fossil cannot produce life. Similarly, mind cannot produce Śraddhā. Śraddhā is original and fundamental. When the Supreme Lord appears in the heart, mind vanishes. When the Supreme Lord appears in the heart, mind vanishes. Reality is just the opposite. Darkness cannot produce light. Light comes, darkness vanishes. So truth appears when real pure consciousness appears, and mental speculation vanishes. The mind is concerned with misconception. It is an element of the Aparashakti, the inferior potency. That potency is both subtle and gross. Earth, water, fire, air, and ether are gross. Mind, intelligence, and ego are subtle. But they are all material. Soul is transcendental. And Svarup Shakti, or the Lord's personal potency, bhajana, or divine service, and Goloka Vaikuntha are all supramundane and are transcendental. On the other side of the soul, not on the lower side where the mind is located, mind emerges from the ego, that is, the false ego, and it is made of the exploiting tendency. But Mahaprabhu says, Moraman, Vrindavana, my speculation is on the other side, Vrindavan. That is not an element of this mundane plane. And then the devotee is asking Srila Śrīla Maharaj, so, there is a pure mind? Srila Śrīla Maharaj responds, properly speaking, the word mind does not deserve to be used in this context at all. Otherwise, everything will be wrongly equated. The residents of Goloka also possess senses, etc. But the affairs of the mundane world are never one with that. The mundane mentality is a product of exploitation, sense exploitation. We need relief from this mind. We are surrounded by poisonous thought. In the narration of the Tridanti Sannyasim in Srimad Bhagavatam, all the disciples are common in that the mind should be checked. Dhanam svadharmo niyamo yamascha Shutam cha karmani cha sat bratani Sarve manu nigraha lakshanantaha Parohi yogo manasaha smadihi. Charity. Constant and conditional prescribed duties. Mental and sensual control. Hearing the scriptures. Holy vows and duties. All these are observed to gain subjugation of the mind. Mental control is known as the supreme yoga. Devotee, you were talking about Kirtana. I have read that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Japa, private chanting, is also related to kirtana, congregational chanting or preaching. And also that Srila Rupa Goswami says there are 3 types of japa, namely manashika or mental, vachika or vocal, and upamshu, whispered. Which is proper for us and which is the most effective? Srila Guru Maharaj, in upamshu there is no sound, only movement of the lips. And in manashika there is no lip movement. You ask, which is superior of these 3 types? Devotee says, yes. And Srila Guru Maharaj responds, whatever is internally real will be superior. Japa must be genuine, not imitative. Our attention should always be towards the negative side. Our attention should always be towards the negative side. If we can practice that in a real way, our promotion cannot be checked. But without qualification, if we are very eager to go upward, there will be a tendency to fall down. Dashaya te mama rasus tu satyam. May I have the aspiration for servitude. May I have the aspiration for servitude. For bhajana or internal service, such a temperament should always be followed. Tad dasha dasa dashanam dashadvam dehi me pravo. Promotion is inevitable if we always try to adhere to the lower duty. Eagerness for promotion is the enemy. That is for pratishta, renown, recognition, and fame. And that will undermine everything. Srila Prabhupada said that imitation arises from the attraction for pratishta, or desire to hold the superior position and acquire a name for oneself. That is a great enemy. Don't fall prey to that pratishta, eagerness to hold a higher position. Rather, dainyam, humility, is a healthy sign of a devotee. Jai Srila Sridhar Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Sermons of the Garden of Devotion ki Jai. This was such a helpful chapter to read by Srila Sridhar Maharaj. We basically read that smarana, which is remembering the Lord, should not be of our concern, especially in our beginning stage. What should be of our concern will be kirtana, chanting, preaching, writing, singing the glories of the Lord. And it must be genuine. We must focus on the negative side, which honestly, I don't know what that means. But it's really helpful what Srila Sridhar Maharaj is sharing. And that is that because of our addiction for fame and recognition, which is entangled in our consciousness, we will start desiring to imitate. We will start pretending. Just because the desire for recognition is very strong, we will imitate. And as we read, we don't want to become Sahayijas. We will go to hell instead of Goloka. So this is very helpful to remember that our biggest aspiration is servitude and humility. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj said on a talk that if we want to continue this campaign, we must be humble towards high. Jai Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Jai Sermons of the Garden of Devotion, Volume 2, Ki Jai. Bimal Krishna Prabhu says, the negative side is realizing our dependence on the Lord when we are feeling helpless, needing assistance. Jai Bimal Krishna Prabhu ki Jai. This is just incredible. While the entire world is looking for recognition, and while the entire world is clapping pride and fame and wealth, the Vaishnavas are recognizing and clapping for humility and self-giving. Such a complete shift of paradigm. A proper acquaintance with the environment is what our Guru Varga is offering to us. Okay. We're going to chant Hari Haraye and then we'll be done. Dandavad Gangalila Didi. Jai Mahaprabhu. Hari Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Hari Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Śrīmadhusudana. Gopal Govinda Ram Śrīmadhusudana. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohana. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohana. Śrī Chaitanya Nityananda Śrī Advaita Chandra. Śrī Chaitanya Nityananda Śrī Advaita Chandra. Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Rupa Sanatan Bhata Raghunata. Jaya Rupa Sanatan Bhata Raghunata. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhata Dasa Raghunata. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhata Dasa Raghunata. Echai Gosai Kori Charana Vandana. Echai Gosai Kori Charana Vandana. Jaha hoite vigna nasha Vista Purana. Jaha hoite vigna nasha Vista Purana. Echai Gosai Jara Muitara Dasa. Echai Gosai Jara Muitara Dasa. Tasavara Pada Renu Mora Panchagrasa. Tasavara Pada Renu Mora Panchagrasa. Tadiracharana se vivakta sanevasa. Tadiracharana se vivakta sanevasa. Janame mora avilas. Janame mora avilasa. Echai Gosai Jave Vraje Koilavasa. Echai Gosai Jave Vraje Koilavasa. Shri Rāsa Krishna Nitya-līlā Korila Prakasha. Shri Rāsa Krishna Nitya-līlā Korila Prakasha. Anande bolo Hari Vaja Vrindavana. Anande bolo Hari Vaja Vrindavana. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pare Majai Jaman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pare Majai Jamana. Shri Guru Vaishnava Para Panma Koriyasa. Shri Guru Vaishnava Para Panma Koriyasa. Harinām-saṅkīrtan kohe Narottamadas. Harinām-saṅkīrtan kohe Narottamadas. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Guru Deva, 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 Jaya Gaura Sundar, 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 Jaya Gaura Sundar. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jai Vishnupada Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Vishnupada Srila Bhakti Vaka Srila Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Vishnupada Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki Jai. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Jai Shri Śraddhā Krishna ki Jai. Jai Kol Cartels ki Jai. Jai Harinām-saṅkīrtan ki Jai. Jai morning readings ki Jai. Jai Śrī Chaitanya SCSMission ki Jai. Jai Śrī Chaitanya Charitāmṛta ki Jai. All assembled devotees ki Jai. Jai all unassembled devotees ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande Gaura Hariyo. We have the fortune to have the association of Bhima Krishna Prabhu and Ganga Lila Didi. And Nadia Sundari Didi and Haridev Prabhu. My Dandava pranams to you. Have a glorious day. Haribol.